Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of MDM Real Talk. I'm Marissa.
I'm Mackenzie.
I'm Darian.
And we are talking about something super interesting today. So I know if you all keep up with social media and y'all follow Shade Room and Hollywood Unlocked and all those pages, y'all know about Megan Thee Stallion and her incident. So we have two guests joining us today. We have DJ and Joshua. You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves to everyone?
Yeah, I'm I'm DJ Bear. I'm a friend of Darian. We went to high school together. Um, that's me.
Cool.
And I'm Joshua McLean. I'm a high school teammate of DJ.
Awesome. So we are talking about a post that was made by our dear friend DJ over here on Facebook in regards to the Megan Thee Stallion shooting. He said, y'all might not want to hear this, but Meg Thee Stallion's whole wave is pitting Black women against Black men, and the support be crazy. So there's a lot in this sentence. Why don't we just jump in? Whoever has a thought first, just go ahead. What are initial thoughts on this?
Well, I'll take this first. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. How about you explain this?
Well, yeah.
What's the whole
That's what I was
background of
gonna
your
say.
comment?
I feel like that wasn't positioned 100% correct. So, I think both conversations are important. But I made that post not related to the shooting. That post was related to our music, the content, and just even passing me just the influence that she has is more so what I was speaking towards. But like I said, I think both conversations are important though about the incident as well. So.
MDM, initial thoughts.
So I think I kind of want to know more about why you feel that way. Like what I know. Like, is there a specific song? Is it like all of her songs? Is it what she stands for? Like, I kind of want to get more background on it.
Yeah, so I think trying to think back of why I made that post. It was my birthday, so I don't know why I was talking about that on my birthday. But
Like, did you have an argument with the girl or something like that? Like, I kind of.
So I think so it's all of those things. I think on one end, music alone, I think is very impactful. I think that's one of the things I think just in the Black community, just like how much like gun violence and objectifying women and just disrespecting women, and it's about money and car. I think music is influential to the culture in general, right? So that's one end of it. We're at a time right now where like social media is huge, and you can not make any music and still have the same kind of fame and influence that like a producer has or a musician has. So I think it's all of those things in one. And if I had to pick out one specific lyric or one specific song, I could. I even thought about before getting on this call, like maybe even preparing myself for that question. Like, let me look up a lyric that made me feel like this. But I don't even think that's what has shaped my mindset as a single lyric. So I'm speaking more towards just overall influence, because I don't know that I even listen to enough of her music. I haven't been through an album top to bottom to really even say that I have as far as lyric content, that I'm even 100% knowledgeable on all of her content.
Mackenzie, any thoughts?
No, well, I mean, like you said, you don't really you haven't really listened to a whole album, haven't listened to each song and gone by lyric, but you still posted that, and it's just, I find that very interesting that you essentially put that whole idea on her and you haven't gone through each lyric, and you haven't, and just and also comparing what she's saying to like any male rapper, I think is kind of so because I feel like with male rappers or male hip hop artists, obviously objectifying women is a very high and common thing. And but you're okay with that. However, with Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B or any female rapper, Lil Kim, any of those type of rappers who are female who talk about women empowerment or just maybe provocative stuff, that's considered pitting Black women against Black men. I kind of don't understand that.
Yeah, so I think so Meg Thee Stallion's big, right? And I think if you tried not to listen to her, you would still hear a ton of her songs. So my saying I haven't been through an album isn't me saying that I haven't heard, a handful of her songs. I mean, they're always on the radio. I mean, all the awards she's won this year anyway. Like everybody hears Meg Thee Stallion. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm saying I haven't been album, top to bottom because I don't know if rappers are, multifaceted. Like a lot of people talk about one thing, but there might be a song at the back of the album, like Tupac, right? Like he talking about F women, F this, F that. But if you get to the end of the album, he talking about how Black Queens is, most beautiful, black are the very sweet. So it's like, I'm speaking more towards that. I don't know if that's the only thing that she does, but from what I've heard, I've had an opinion about, and I think, I'm glad you brought that up too, because me and Josh spoke. We just, we touched base before we got on the call, and I was like, when I made the post, I got a lot of that, like, oh, but you're okay with this, that, and the third that male rappers do, like, oh, but you can do this, oh, but you could do that, and it's like, it put me in a position where it was like, okay, so let's talk about that then again, and me trying to highlight one side of the fence. Let's disregard just this opinion, unrelated to. It's almost like if you're in a relationship and you don't and your spouse tells you why don't you do the dishes. First thing you say is like, well, like 2 weeks ago you ain't do the laundry, and it's like I feel it, but you didn't say anything about the laundry while it was happening. And regardless if that was a problem or not, I'm talking about this today. Isolated from anything else. This is how I feel about Meg Thee Stallion. Is that taking away what we hear from males? No, I think even what Meg Thee Stallion has said, isn't anything new. It's not something that we've never heard before. The next new rapper, whether it's male or female, is probably going to be talking about derogatory stuff. So I just want to, I wanted to make that post to, let's talk about this side of the fence for a second without feeling like I have to.
Without the deflection.
Yeah, right. Without having to first defend or authenticate or confirm my stance on the other side, on your opinion, before I can even say how I feel about this side, without being accused of ignoring it or being okay with it.
I think that's fair. And when you posted that, I was like, oh my God, I know people are gonna be wilding. So I went through the comments just because I already knew what it was. I saw a lot of that, like, okay, but what about male rappers? And that is a fair, for someone who is really trying not to be tit for tat anymore, that's definitely tit for tat. But the only thing that I think makes it just a little bit different is it's hard to talk about one without the other because it makes it seem like there may be a double standard. And because I think Meg and Cardi B and Lil Kim are really just flipping what has been said just on its head to for us to be able to sing it and not be like, I'm talking about somebody doing something raggedy to me. And not to say that what Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B are saying is true. Like, that's not good either. I think it's valid that we should be able to talk about one without the other. It's difficult because it is so close to being the same thing. So I think it's just a difficult, like, okay, well, let's just talk about what Meg Thee Stallion is saying. And truthfully, I don't really think she's pitting Black women against Black men, so to say. I think It's hard though, because I don't think it's pitting one against the other. I think it's more like, oh, you do this, we could do it too. Like let's tell the other side of the story. So like guys talking about like, oh, you know, me and this girl messed around, now she blowing my phone up because it was so good, blah, blah, blah. And Meg like, okay, but the other side of that equation does happen. Like he be hitting me up all day long, wondering like where I'm at. Blah, blah. Like I think it's just telling another side of the story that doesn't often get told.
And I also want to know kind of like how you feel pitted against. Like, are you out in the world and someone's like a female? Like, have you had an altercation with a female or something like that? And so, like, because I don't see how her lyrics are like saying that Black women shouldn't be with Black men. Like, I that whole kind of like, oh, I don't get that vibe in her lyrics. So I feel like anything that you've experienced where it's like, yeah, and this wouldn't have happened if you weren't listening to that music. Like,
right. So yeah, it's almost like pitted, right, is a loosely held term. And when I'm making this post, it's like I'm like, I don't know what I was doing, but I don't know that, you know. So let's define pitted, right, or for how I wanted it to be received, right. So like pitted for me, when I think about Meg Thee Stallion, right, and even, you know, to Darian's point, like how it's hard to talk about one without the other, right? But I think when I dive deeper into that conversation, and it gets even harder not to talk about the other side, you said something that stuck out to me. It was like, yeah, you're flipping it on its head. And I know a lot of her lyrics are like, yeah, he be hitting me up like, yeah, I got all these dudes, and it's usually dude got all these girls, right? And it's like, I don't care about them. They do for me what I want them to do, kind of a deal. And it's like, okay, there are lyrics definitely that support that, right? That makes that accurate. But, you know, it's hard for me to even say it's flipped on the head, because a lot of it is like self-objectification too. A lot of it is, hey, you ain't gonna get my time unless it's like you got the right amount of money. Hey, I'm not, if he ain't, you know, doing this, that, and the third, then why? That's the only way I'm gonna let him hit. You know, the videos, just the you know, her last song is literally about her body. Adi, adi, adi. Adi, adi, adi. You know what I'm saying? It's literally about her body, right? So it's like, okay, so let's dive into it, right? I think it, I don't think that, go ahead.
So would you say Lizzo is also pitting Black women against Black men, because she also talks about her body? I mean, literally the cover of her last album was her body. So do you
I think it contributes to it. I think it contributes to it. I think it also feeds the negative thoughts that Black men have about Black women. I think it feeds it. I don't know about that one, boy. Okay, so let me explain. Let me explain. I feel like Kevin Hart. Hey. So the reason I say that is because it's like, okay, now, you know, what I felt right there, the response that I got, like, no matter what a woman wears, right, don't give you no, you can't make no advance on a woman. You can't think about her no certain type of way. Like, that's not what you should do. Although, if you see a dude with sagging pants, like, and we're all, you know, Black, right? You see a dude with sagging pants walking across the street, like on some, you know what I'm saying? You're going to feel a little bit different about him than, you know, if he's in a suit with, you know, 2 daughters walking next to him, right? It's just what it is. Now, do you make actions and assumptions past just the appearance? No, but that's real, right? But I'm saying that because it's like, you know, you talk about Cardi B, Lizzo, Meg Thee Stallion, Lil Kim, like we can go across the board. A lot of it, Nicki Minaj, a lot of the really, really, really famous and influential and impactful female rappers, right, have an aura and an imagery that is in line with what men say about women, or Black rappers say about women too. It's like it also confirms a lot of that too. it also
a male-dominated world.
I
okay.
I honestly feel like it's them taking that power back in a sense, and saying like, yeah, I do have a fat ass, I got big boobs, like whatever, and I'm gonna show it off because that's what I have. I have no choice. I was born with it. You know, I was I've watched the movie Crazy Rich Asians, and this made me think of it. In the movie, they played the Chinese version of the Coldplay song Yellow, and a lot of Chinese people and Asian Americans were shocked at first because they were like, yellow, like that is a derogatory term for Asian people. Why would John Chu choose to put this in his movie? And he was like, that was my sense of taking that term back. Just the same way we would use the N word in songs and that power, this was his turn. And so I feel like that is female rappers' thing. That's their yellow. This is like, well, they're going to talk about it. Well, I might as well show it. If anyone's going to show it off, it's going to be me. You know? But people don't look at it that way.
Yeah. And like, I think a really, really good point you made was the nigga thing, right? Because for us, and I use the word, right? For us, it's like a term of endearment, or like, it's like brotherhood, you know? It's like, you know, it's like, black don't crack type deal. And you hear white folks, like, they say it, why can't I say it? You know, like they say like, hey, they're acting like a nigga. Why don't we treat them like niggas? And as hard as that is to accept as black people, because I don't think it should be accepted, right? But I know everybody on this Zoom call has been upset at some niggas doing some nigga shit somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Like I hate seeing that, because I hate that, you know, when I'm the only white or black dude at work, they have these things or something. They was probably at downtown too, watching him act the fool, you know, and I think it's foolish behavior too. So, you know, I definitely understand, and I can appreciate you saying like, it's that power, like, hey, like we've been dealing with this for so long, like now it's like, yeah, but we can use that and, you know, and be in our own bubble of celebration of the things that, you know, were used to oppress us or kind of put us down. I get that. Does that power, one of the questions I have for you is like, that power that's being taken, right? Like where does the actual power lie? Like, where is it being taken from? You know, like what is the power that black men have, right? And what's actually taking that power away from them? And how can, and also analyzing what you perceive as the transfer of power, like what are the underlying things that are what are the lasting effects or the contingent results that come from that thinking and that line of thought, you know, because it goes both ways. In no way, shape, or form are men innocent, or are we're not contributing to this divide, right? We are too. Everybody's doing it. I feel like Meg's doing it. Period.
So,
you know?
Just to go back to the question that you asked, I don't know if you meant it to be rhetorical or not, but I'm going to answer it anyway. So taking the power back. So as Black women, we have always been seen as less than, not beautiful, not, even though our features, our mannerisms, our style has been taken by predominantly white influence.
Right.
Or influencers like your Kylie Jenner, that kind of Kim Kardashian, this, that, and third. So I think by Megan Thee Stallion, by Lizzo, by Lil' Kim, by Cardi B, all these prominent Black or of color figures, by making music and showing people that, hey, we are beautiful. The things that we have are things to aspire to be. I think that's what they're doing. I don't think it's necessarily taking power from you. I think it's more like putting us on the map. like we exist, we are here, we are beautiful. And if y'all don't like it, figure it out, get out of it. We're gonna be here regardless. That's what I take it as.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, like, because I kind of feel like I understand that more. Not that I don't understand, like, taking power, right? But that's what I mentioned. It was like, Black women to me, like, the most powerful person in my world. I don't know how many of you guys know my mom, right? I know, Josh, you probably met her. I don't know if you have, Derek. You probably have too. She is the most, like, when I think about powerful, and then number 2 is my late grandma. You know what I'm saying? So I think about, like, powerful, I think about Black women, right? Like, I literally think about Black women. Like, don't let me come on here and say nothing a little off, because y'all gonna be on my ass. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was like, we gonna try to keep it cordial. You know, I'm glad this is a Zoom meeting, because if it wasn't a Zoom meeting, you know, I might, you know, who knows? Security, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so I just think that, so that also is like, and I know there's a lot of different perspectives. Some people look at it like, hey, she naked on Instagram, so she a hoe. Some people are like, hey man, you can't, you know, more on the, you know, the feminine side of like, hey, like, this is us being like, hey, figure it out, this is who we are. And I kind of fall a little bit in the middle of like, man, like 50% of the challenge for me and the hard part for me about this whole conversation is like how I've grown up to know Black women, and how I feel like that image that is being attached to is so far less than the true power. Like, all I have is female cousins, and I'm the youngest. So like, my whole perspective on like the Black woman, like, is, you know, it's been developed and it's built into something that's like, yeah, powerful, you know? Like, it literally made me like laugh, like internally. It was like, yeah, like, what Cardi say, like, don't cook, don't clean. Like, it's like, whoa, like, when you think about some good Thanksgiving dinner, you know, like that in my mind, like, stay out the kitchen. Like, stay out the kitchen, bro. When it's done, it's gonna be done. You know what I'm saying? Grandma she already full. She been taste testing for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's, you know, a minor just example that's kind of, you know, whatever. But I think though, like, that's also what makes it tough for me, because I'll be like, man, like, why? Like, I literally got into an argument on Facebook about how I literally did not, like, I would never ask my woman to like get like a new butt or like fake tits. Like, I would never ever do it. I would never do it, because I'm like, dude, y'all are so, like, it's worse after. Like, it's, in a way, like, it looks better, but it's worse. And like, I feel like even that, like, that's the thing that women in general, but also Black women, is like, dude, if you on Housewives of Atlanta, you got a fake butt. You do. You know? Where the first place everybody met Cardi B? You know? Like, so you can put whatever you want on that. Like, you don't have to say that since that's where she came from, since that's what she does, then that's how I should treat all women. Or if a woman's thinking about it, like, that's my only way how to have this influence and be affluent in general and having nice things and money and stuff like that. And this is also kind of a segue into the shooting conversation, right? When she got shot. I just feel like, hold on one second. Yes? You want something to eat? You want some bread right now? Okay. Can I have 5 minutes, pretty please? Okay, come here. Damn, where was I going with that? You interrupted me, Bubba. Yeah, what's going on? Black women always trying to run something. Always trying to run something.
No, we always running something, okay? We don't be trying.
We be running it. We be running it.
Always right.
Period.
Back. So I think that I guess all in all, like, I was segueing into one second, baby. I was segueing into the shooting conversation because it's like I kind of feel like there is also what has been created is like a chip on y'all's shoulder too, and rightfully so, right? Rightfully so. But I think that it sometimes also contributes to the negative connotations. That chip on your shoulder that has been developed, and understandably so. Let me put that out there. Like, I get it, right? Like, it ain't easy being a Black woman. I get it. But I still think that what you guys choose to do with that chip on your shoulder and how you guys choose to respond because it's there isn't always progressive. I think sometimes it's self-inflicting too.
Okay, so here's what I'll say to that. So
I'm gonna go on mute too.
Okay. I feel like the conversation when it comes to Black men and Black women is so unique because I think we're the only group of people who actually have a divide between the men and the women. Like, white people don't deal with that, Asian people don't deal with that, Hispanic people don't deal with that. They may say something like, oh, something I've heard is like Hispanic women are crazy or whatever. Like, people may say stuff, but there's never really like a real true divide like there is with Black men and Black women. And also, I think Black women are the only group of women who deal with derogatory things being said about them in the media. Black women are the only group of women who have been spoken about in a derogatory manner in the media, like, consistently. It's like really crazy, actually. And it's so interesting the conversations that we get pulled into involuntarily as well. And so this chip that we have on our shoulder, if you want to call it that, I feel like sometimes it's Black women just being like, enough is enough. Like, I'm over it. Now, I will agree with you, though, that sometimes the way that we go about it isn't necessarily the best way to go about it. I think the real way to bring change when it comes to the way that some Black men treat Black women is to not put up with it. Like, there's a lot of Black women out there that put up with, raggedy Black men, and they get back with them and let them call them whatever and let them treat them whatever. And, they in the strip club and they just, which nothing wrong with being in a strip club, no worries. But if you, nothing wrong with that. But if you're like in there and you allow Black men to touch you and like speak derogatorily to you, whatever, like, that is your choice. So what you allow will continue. And I think as a community, Black women have put up with way more than we should have ever put up with. So though there's a lot that some Black men need to change, arguably all of y'all, because I feel like it takes not to say that all Black men play a part in the problem, but when you see the problem and you do nothing about it, then you do become complicit in that. So if you're not speaking out against it, or you're not correcting your homies, like, you are the problem. And so just like for us, if we got a friend who's dealing with this raggedy man and he's calling her out her name and doing whatever, and she continues to get with him, we also need to take responsibility. Like, you deserve better than that. You cannot put up with that, because that continues to show men like, oh, this is okay. So the next girl I go to, that's what I'm gonna do. The next song I write, that's how I'm gonna talk, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then to piggyback off of that, I think sometimes we, and not all Black women, but some Black women, look at like rappers and like what they talk about and the women that are in their music videos and think that's like real life. Like, for some of them it is, but for a lot of them it's not. Like, they have one woman at home they're going to every night. Now, if they're faithful to her, I don't know. But a lot of them are married. A lot of them are like, this is how I talk, but this is real life. And so sometimes what some Black women are fighting against sometimes isn't even really there. It's like something that's kind of put on as a show to impress.
It's what sells.
Whoever.
It's what sells.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
Right. So
that's what I was gonna say too.
It's a very like layered thing,
Yeah.
but there's like responsibility on both sides to change it. But
Yeah.
I don't think everybody wants to change it. And the last thing I'll say while I'm talking right now is that Lizzo and Meg Thee Stallion, Lil' Kim, I think some of them represent the women who want to be like fully themselves. Like, I like to have sex, I like to do this, I like to give it, whatever you like to do. And you don't want to be in the closet about that. You don't want to be a lady in the streets, but a freak in the streets. You want to be a freak in the streets too. Like, so they want to be able to do that. And if that's your ministry, you know what I mean? You should do that. But also you do have to be prepared for what comes with that. Just like you said, if a man is sagging his pants across the street, I am going to look at him like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but am I going to rush up to talk to you? If you come to talk to me, am I going to be like, oh yeah, I can look past that? Like that, it does say something about you, regardless of whether it's true or not. There is that judgment that happens on both sides. So you just have to be okay with that. You just can't group the whole gender with that.
Yeah. And let me highlight something you said. I think it was like point 2. I think it was like point 2. You said you were comparing like what everybody's responsibility is. You were talking about like, hey, like as black men, like if you see something like black men harming black women, however that might be taking place, you need to say something about it, right? And as a black woman, you went on, you're like, and we gotta, it's our responsibility to also highlight and tell our friends when you're accepting a black man doing harmful things to you, right? Like it's everybody's responsibility to make a change, right? And it's layered, right? That's another point you made. What I just heard right there is like, look, black men are the problem. And we need to call it out when it's the black, as you, hey, we see this couple, since it's just gotta be him, right? Like his friends need to tell him he's doing bad, and her friends need to tell her to quit dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that, I think, is more so of the responsibility. I think in order to take some responsibility for something, you have to identify it and like understand that it's an issue first. And I think the identification, tying it all the way back to the beginning and the real original reason of my post, is like, hey, I'm talking about this though. Like, do y'all know this is happening?
But like, what exactly is it? Like,
yeah, what exactly is it that's happening?
Doing?
Okay,
like,
okay, cool. I know. That's why I said it. We need to figure it out. We gotta talk about it. No, we need to talk about it. Hey, we don't know what the issue is. But since you're saying it's an issue, what's the issue then?
You the one who posted it though. You posted it. You the issue.
I know. I'm joking. Okay, I'm an idiot. Okay, they don't know me, Darian. They know I play all day. But look, so what I'm saying is this. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that. Okay, example. If I have a son, right, and let's say he's an athlete, and he may get drafted one day, right? Or he just maybe, let's say he's a really, really good doctor, he's smart, and he about to be on a lot of money one day. Even if he's not, one of the lessons, if you got a good daddy, one of the lessons that he gonna tell you is don't be spending money on these women, because everything gonna tell you to do it, including them, you know, and don't do it. Don't do that, because you know I could talk about a lot of things, like as far as like who's who deals with the more derogatory stuff or whatever. But as black men, right, like we go to our friends and tell a girl like, or talking about a girl like, man, she's so cute and like she's smart, right? It might be like cute and smart. When y'all going to y'all friends, I don't know how many of you telling. Well, one of them gonna be like, so what does he do? Like, what does he do for work? What can he give you? Right? Like, that's important. Like, I don't know, like, I mean, you know, I know a lot of women deal with broke dudes and but I think ideally, like a dude that's like can take care of me, take care of himself, take care of the kid. With men, it's like, dude, if she's like a 11 out of 10, like then we gonna figure it out, okay? Like we gonna figure it out. She don't really need to do nothing else. So I say all that to say, and I bring up how you compare those two things, is because as Black men, when we're talking about this specific conversation, very rarely do we get to that point. Are you telling your friend when she's literally with this dude just for money that, hey, like maybe y'all are struggling, like maybe you should try to get a job? Like, are you guys telling your friend when she go to the club, dress how she's dressed, and attracts a certain kind of attention, and then therefore always she's that friend that's always heartbroken or like dealing with the same type of dude and all dudes ain't nothing? You know what I'm saying? Are y'all telling her like, hey, like you need to quit looking for that from attention from that specific place? Like, those things, I think contribute to the divide.
Between the three of us,
and that's also why, like, I'm concerned of the women that you're like consorting with, because I think for the most part, yeah, at this point, I feel like if I'm bringing to the table a full-time job, house, 401k, yada yada, like I expect my significant other to kind of match that. I wouldn't expect anything less than that, because that's what I'm bringing to the table. So to your point, I do agree that there are people out there who are only looking to be taken care of. I do agree that those people do exist. However, to say that because she's female and she looks good, that means she must be looking for a handout.
Oh, no. I'm saying period. Like, because she's a female and she's looking good, rich men will take a chance on that woman. Rich women, like, or not even rich women. Somebody got their 401k, graduated, got her stuff together. Like, hey, man, you got to at least be here, brother. For real.
I think you get to that certain point, though. I don't think we initially start off in that. It's like maybe
I agree.
Working, we're in our mid to late 20s, we're like really kind of getting into the feel of our career, we're starting to develop our life for ourselves. Now, yes, as I'm dating, I would want someone to kind of be on that same track.
Which is valid.
But before that, if you meet someone and they're still figuring it out, but you still care deeply enough for that person or love that person, I don't think that's necessarily going to be a turnoff. It's like, I still care about you this much that I'm still going to help you figure it out. Even if I reach my career goals first, you know, in this journey. But that said, like, if you've tried and tried and tried, and that person is not trying, then yeah, you get to that point where you're like, man, I'm not dealing with it anymore. Right. Now I know what I want, and this is what I want. And if he can't bring it, you're not the person for me, and I'll just wait until I find him.
Right.
So let's. So okay, I totally agree with you that there is.
You better lay it on me. That's what you gonna do.
There is this thing of a man sees, and I was actually just talking to somebody about this the other day, that a man can see a woman and be like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful and she's intelligent. I don't care what she does. I don't care if she works at a receptionist at this office. I don't care if she's a lawyer at a top firm. I don't care, but like, I'm feeling you, so we're gonna make it work. And a lot of times women meet somebody and be like, wow, he's really cute, he's intelligent. How much money does he make? What is he doing with his life? Like, where is he going? Where is he? So I agree, there is that. Okay.
Somebody gonna tell you, hey man, you dealing with a raggedy nigga, and it's my responsibility to tell you when you dealing with a broke nigga. Okay, so you already know. Yeah, I'm gonna keep like he gotta be doing something.
It's really? More. I think when you get to a certain age, or you get around the right people, or you do you invest in some growth within yourself, you do start to look at other things, because you got to also realize for a long time ago, women couldn't work. Like, women couldn't, you know, have her own bank account, get a house on her own. So she was looking for a man that could do all that, because I can't do it all. I can't do any of it. So I got to date somebody. I got to marry somebody who is, because if I don't, I'm SOL, because I can't do any of it anyway. So I think there are remnants of that. And also on the flip side, men looking for women, like, I don't really have to worry about what you do for a living, blah, 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 because like I'm take care of the household, that's what I'm here for, blah, blah, blah. And we have evolved and times have changed. And now everybody can do their own thing and be as successful as they want to be. So the playing field is a little bit more even than it once was. But I do think that.
But it's still not even, though, I will say.
And it's not even, but it's also like, okay, so instead of looking at it like, and this is just a question, just to be devil's advocate, instead of looking at it like women look for all of these things to be in line before I can even go on a date with you, should men be more picky when they look for women? Should y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fact. Well, that's a fact. No, I mean, you know, we getting straight to the money and looking for a trophy wife. That's it. That's all. So, but that's definitely on us to look for better women that have better qualities.
Facts. And that's our responsibility too, Josh. Like if somebody send me like, man, I'm dealing with her, like, hey man, here she go right here. If she is cold, I don't know what else there is to talk about. I'm like, man, like, dude, I'm happy for you, bro. How you get her? You know what I'm saying? Like, it, you know, we do, as men, we should normalize, like, so what do she always be up in drama? And she always, you know, this, that, and the third. I think, you know, it's hard to help a racist person realize how they're being racist and then change how they're being racist, right? Like, you could tell like a Trump supporter, like, hey man, like because you're a Trump supporter, like I'm pretty solidified on the fact that you're racist. Like, because of X, Y, and Z, like I know that. Like, helping them and having enough meaningful conversations with them so they can actually break down and like get down through the layers and like understand like how and why they're moving like this and how it's wrong is like a difficult conversation to have. Because, and that's on the whole, that's an extreme example, right? But I think people in general, right, like that are perceived on two ends or opposite sides of a debate, like you're gonna have your defenses and you're gonna have your, well, yeah, because it is. Like, yeah, and then like, you know, because it is. You know, we can continue to have that conversation, and I don't think it would end because I'm sure that you guys have a lot of things that, you know, you could say just in generalities about black men and why black women respond like that. And me and Josh could do the same thing, but I don't think that that's I don't think that moves the conversation forward. You know, I specifically made an opinion about a rapper, a female rapper. And I said that it's, you know, crazy that her support be so heavy, you know? And 99% of those posts were talking about, hey, but look at what you, like, not even saying it's right. Like, that's the kicker. Like, they're not even saying like it's wrong or right that she's doing it. They telling me like, hey, but look, you know, so what I'm saying is that conversation can go on forever. What I think is a more forward thinking conversation is highlighting the fact that there are contributing things to that conversation that I don't think are realized. And I think that even taking it a step deeper, men don't feel like they can make a post like that. Like, you know, I think everybody has made good points today. Right.
And I'm not even gonna lie, DJ. When I seen that, I said, "Oh man, that boy.
Like, you crazy, boy.
Crazy
you
for
crazy.
posting that."
Yeah.
Even though I didn't necessarily agree, I was like, "Damn!" For even having the guts to hit send on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like
I thought you were brave for even hitting send on that.
Yeah, like yeah, and I was like, yeah, and I sent it. And that's just kind of how I am. Like, Darian's know me and stuff. You know me too, man. Like I also feel like it sometimes is better to be a little bit more radical in a conversation because then I think you can spark like some stuff like this. You can get to the bottom of some stuff. You can highlight it, you know, some perspectives and just add it to the conversation at least. Like, let it be added. Like, I think, I feel like this is why. Maybe tell me I'm wrong about that, but we're talking about it. Like don't deflect it with something that I've done wrong. What's up, Bubba?
Right, because when you posted it, I didn't necessarily agree at first because I didn't really see where the pit was against. I understand what she says in her music, and it's nothing new. But I did agree with what you were saying about, let's not deflect. Let me be able to speak on this part of it without bringing up the other end of it. And that moves the conversation forward. That's just a little bit more accountability.
Let me say this too. Like, I love my black women too, man. Like, y'all, like, I'm not looking for nobody but a black woman. I'm raising one. Like, I'm with y'all with it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I can't stand y'all though, but like, I'm with y'all though. You know what I'm saying?
The feeling is way.
Oh yeah. Okay. We ain't gonna talk about that. But I think the last thing I want to talk about is this shooting situation, because in my opinion, I'm like, yo, yeah. Okay. I was trying to figure out. Go get the remote. I'm like, man, I did not know everybody was there, first of all. And then second, I didn't know everybody's last name was Judy or Judge Joe Brown or like everybody just convicting him before he's convicted. Like, holy cow. Like, cool, whatever. Me and Josh was talking. Like I said, we had to prepare at least a little bit. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm bringing you into, bro. But we was like, man, out of the people that were there at the scene, right, nobody's cool with Meg. And one of those people was her best friend. Like, let me tell you, if my best friend's in some stuff that's like he could do like real time for, like half of me is just gonna ride with him regardless. Like, I don't want, like, I'm gonna either stay out of it if I can, if there's something that I can help him not have to, whatever, as his best friend, like, I got his best. She don't even mess with Meg no more. And obviously Tori and Meg are on two opposite sides of the coin. And then I'm like, wow, everybody that was there, the only people that were actually there, like, regardless of what everybody think happened that wasn't there and how they think he should be convicted, everybody was there don't rock with Meg no more. And that for me is like a reason to let the case play out. It's not saying Tori's innocent, but outside of that, he ain't been convicted. How did this man get convicted and slandered and thrown and dragged through the mud and ain't nobody been convicted? Like, black men, Joshua said, are some of the most wrongfully accused and convicted people on earth. So as a black man and as black people, I feel like it's good to let stuff play out. Okay, so if I let you have this, then you need to go out there and give daddy like 10 more minutes.
Well, and it's not that I wanted to let things play out. Like you said, black men are falsely accused and convicted in America the most. So I just always feel like, all right, no matter what the situation is, I want to hear the black man out, point blank, period. Not saying Tori was right or innocent, because I mean, if I had the chance to talk to Tori, I'd ask him like, all right, bro, you saying you didn't shoot her, so what part did you play in the situation, period? Because you didn't do nothing. Because obviously something happened. So, I just would want to hear him out just off the fact that black men are wrongly convicted.
Yeah.
I didn't know until just now, the point you just made, Joshua, that is true. One, I think it's timing. I think it's the timing of everything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
A lot that went on this year. And with the Black Women Matters and Black Lives Matter and that whole thing. And so then this happens. And it's just another thing to add on to it. And so it was like, damn, what do black women have to do for this to just stop happening? Like, whether you get shot or you get killed or you're in a domestic dispute or just something. It was just one more to add to it for us, I feel. And I'm not looking for all black women, and no one will ever actually know besides the the people who were there that night what actually happened. It's all just speculating and semantics and what we're reading on Instagram and the news and all of that. But I really just think it's the timing of everything and all of that built up anger and energy that women were just waiting to release. And then you have this woman who not necessarily is an idol, but someone that like makes us feel good, you know, that has brought out some confidence in us, you know. We're like, why is this happening to her? Like of all people, like you know. So I'm not saying it's right and wrong. I don't know what happened. I don't know either of them personally, obviously. But that's just what I think where all of the commentary and the hatred for Tory came from.
And I think it has to all like that is the culture today. Like anybody gets shot and like people are there, like everybody's speculating anyway. So I feel like this is the norm. This is had it not been Megan Tory, had it been James and Josiah. And you know, so we like I'm saying like who did it? Okay, well I think it was so from the stories that I'm hearing from what I'm speculating. So I feel like and I didn't really have an opinion. I don't know what happened. I didn't read too much about it. I just kind of heard about it. So I really don't know why it was like that big of a thing. The only thing I can think about is part of what Marissa said, but also there is a culture in the United States and probably in most places too, that we're like, when women say this was done to me, oftentimes, okay, well, you got to prove that. I don't know. Did it really happen? Did he mean it like that? Like, what part did you play? You know what I mean? Even like, and this is totally not the same thing, but like with rape cases, like a woman is raped, and it's like, what was you wearing? Well, you were out late at night. Well, did you
why are you there?
Did you lead them on? Like, trying to figure out what did you do to play a part to put yourself in this position. I think women may have thought, oh, y'all not gonna do that this time. Y'all not. But truthfully, you know, there are two sides to every story. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's so important that we know. But I think there were feelings that Black women, and not all of us, but some of us probably already had, and we're tired of feeling like we were being ignored, and we were like, well, we're not gonna let that happen to Meg. Like, no, we're gonna be here, and you know, we'll see how this rides out, but we're not gonna let it happen to you though, whether that was right or wrong.
The thing I think why it's become such a big deal is because each of them are on two separate sides. Like, I shot him, he shot me, I didn't shoot her. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So now it's like, whoa, somebody's tweaking. We know that somebody is really out here on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, you talk about timing, right? Like when my incident happened, you know, I got shot on Juneteenth in a Black area, like at the height of Black people being supportive of each other, like us against the world, like in Minneapolis, South Minneapolis, like the pinnacle of this whole George Floyd thing in general, right? I get shot, and half the calls I'm getting is like, man, these white supremacists, these and come to find out, it was some little niggas.
If
you know?
Can hear me?
Nah. So I got shot on Juneteenth. Can y'all hear me still?
Yes.
Okay. Juneteenth, right? Like our holiday. Like in South Minneapolis, where the start of all this George Floyd stuff happened, right? People was calling me like, these white supremacists, like, I can't believe that, man, stay home like you've been doing. Because I was outside too. Like, I was at marches. I was doing all of it, posting it. You know, I would just want to be a part of it. They're like, wow, like the cops really were like, some white dude really came and shot. And I'm like, hey, man, I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it was so many shots fired. Like, you ain't really have a chance to like see who doing it. Like, it's time to get up out of there. Like, I literally didn't even see. You know, nobody really knew because I wasn't really even trying to ask anyway, for real. But it was my responsibility in that moment, right, to not feed the false narrative. I don't know if y'all remember when that black dude killed himself downtown.
Yeah.
And then the girl was out there like, the guy just saw the cops shoot him. Like, got on live and said that. And it could have easily broke some, you know, like for not the right reason, though. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, just take it.
Hey, no, we got there's somebody going to jail off of that.
Yeah, I know. I know. Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
And
going to jail
bogus.
off of that. And the whole time it wasn't even that. So it's like, if hypothetically speaking, it comes out that Tory's not convicted, Meg blamed Tory wrongfully. Maybe she was drunk, maybe she didn't see, maybe she just didn't, you know, whatever, who knows? But when they get to the bottom of that, and if it comes out that Meg was not being responsible with her influence, my whole point about Meg is confirmed. Her whole wave is divisive. Her whole move is divisive. And that was kind of why I think I made that post. I think Tory Lanez might have posted something like, man, the truth shall set you free or something like that on Instagram. I'm like, man, if this dude did not do that, you know how crazy Meg looks for that?
But I think the problem is that people always want to jump to the fact that it couldn't have happened. Like, granted, okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know though. The whole Megan Thee Stallion thing is one thing, but I mean, when it, like Darian said earlier, when it comes to a woman being in peril, like everyone's always like, is she actually really in peril?
Right.
Like,
Right.
did that really happen? And
Right.
people are so willing to put the victim on the man, even though they're both black people. People are still willing to put the victim on the man and make the woman out to be the accuser or the issue. And it's like, as opposed to seeing a problem for what it is. And I do agree there are both sides to a story, but there's actually three sides to a story. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. And if we actually were to see that, then I think there wouldn't be that big of we wouldn't be in this situation.
Right.
And I think I do agree that people who aren't there or weren't there are definitely quick to jump sides, but I also think that as a whole, especially as this Me Too movement comes through, the concept of that, instead of it being like women versus men, it should be like someone is innocent and someone is guilty.
Facts.
Like no bias opinions there. And I think,
and you know what? I agree with that, but I think one thing for us black men, you know, we get lumped in together. One black man does something and it becomes black men, and we don't want to be a part of that. We don't like that. So, you know, most of us is hoping, damn, I hope Tory didn't do that ignorant shit.
Man.
Cause you know, like I'm telling my boy, like, oh man, if it comes out that he shot her, I'm staying off the internet for a month. I don't want to see the black man slander, like, you know what I mean? Cause we get I think more black men would, you know, go hard and be on another man's head, but it's, you know, instead of it being that black man, Tory Lanez, it's all black men. See,
this the problem. Fuck. See, this the problem. You know what I'm saying?
On our side too, if she ends up being the person that was in the wrong, it's the same thing. Well, now we can't trust a woman. Now we'll never know. Like,
that's facts.
It's the same on both sides.
Yeah,
that's facts.
Like both sides, like we as black people just need to start being more aware of how what we do does affect the other side, like both ways. So it's because y'all experience stuff that we don't experience, but we experience stuff that y'all don't experience, and both sides are very valid. It's just I think sometimes we get real focused on ours because we like, okay, I get what y'all dealing with, but like this is what we dealing with. But really, for us to be able to come together and become black people instead of black men and black women, we have to include the other side in the conversation and at least be aware and open to it.
Yeah, that's so much facts, because I think that it's hard. I'm gonna bring it back to the race thing, right? Like, it was really hard for me in light of, even before I got shot, to have these conversations with some of my white friend coworkers, because it felt like disrespectful Like, I'm finna get on your ass even because you're asking why people are rioting, right? Like since you have the absence of knowledge, like, it's almost pissing me off. And then I had to take a step back. Like, it's actually my responsibility to like have these conversations with him in like a healthy, open, safe place, you know, like, because a lot of people was just raised like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, I was like this dude's first black friend, you know, like I used to joke around with him, like, dude, I'm like your first black friend. Because that's what it felt like. Cause he had all these little like innocent, like, you know, like I asked him like, no, I'm not racist. I have a black friend. Like, that's what he said to me. I'm like, dude, look, I know, listen, that's just what you don't say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you think like in your head, but you know, just that, it can come off as like, so then in turn, white people don't even want to come and ask and inquire and add to the conversation and get to a place where we can grow, you know? So it's like, I think it's also everybody's responsibility to be able to accept the conversation for what it is and allow something to be added and allow growth to actually happen. And my friends ain't coming and calling me like, hey man, I need to take your phone because you done lost your mind posting something, you know, like that on Facebook. If a white dude posts, man, I really think like more black people should be like on some like make America great again. Like, somebody posted that, it's like, he got a whole bunch of black friends, they be like, dude, what you doing? But like, in all honesty, like, we have to be able to take a deep breath and really make the goal the progression. Like, put that at the forefront. Maybe not the forefront how wrong or how messed up you've had us, or like how far from the truth you lie. You know, like, it take a dude like me that like gonna just say it in order for there to even be people posting, and then people start coming out the woodworks. Then it's like, man, you speaking the truth, man. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? People feel like that. So yeah, I think it's everybody. It's genuinely everybody. And I think, as you know, I think my last thing is too, like, on the other side of the whole conviction and legal conversation, like, I was a D1 athlete, and twice did one of my boys have his scholarship in jeopardy because somebody said something. And it was just that. Like, hey, he raped me. What? Oh, what? Heck no. But then, you know, black athlete, you know, at the bar, she's saying this. She was white, which doesn't make it better. But that happens too. So, right. And I'm not comparing y'all to white women, right? But what I'm saying is, stay out of it. If it's not like this Megan and Tory situation, nobody's convicted. So it's like, even though it's like you don't want the other side to be, like, if you say that, like, hey, but at the same time, y'all always trying to tell us let's hear his side of the story, and she has to prove it. Y'all always are doing that. So let's see how this plays out without actually, you know, saying that she got to prove something. The case is where it's at for a reason, and it's gonna get to the end of it. And then at that point, everybody can make their decisions about it. Because anything else, it may be half right, but it's really not. Whether you're saying they just believe the man right away, or whether you're saying they just believe the woman right away, neither of those things really matter at the end of the day in this specific case, because nobody really knows, and it's still an open case.
Well, no one will ever know what takes place in situations like this. And no one will ever not stay out of it. That's just not going to happen. Especially with social media, where people are constantly talking about things that don't pertain to them personally. I mean, but it's even before social media, people had opinions about a lot of things that happen. People will never not have an opinion on something. So, I mean, that's just a generation we live in. Like, people are going to take sides just because of a name. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's unfortunate. And then at the end of the day, they either look like the winner or they look stupid. And
Yeah.
it's just, it's really up to us personally to determine
Mm-hmm.
what's our perspective and not necessarily what side we're taking, but um, I feel like just to bring awareness to all sides
Yeah.
of the situation and not just like a he say, she say, which is pretty much what all this is.
Right.
It's he say, she say. That's what all this, like, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even the news. Like, because I mean, people report the news, unless they're showing a video clip of it, you really don't know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Facts.
you know, and it's hard. And this is coming from a journalist perspective, so
Yeah. Right.
it's difficult.
It is. It is.
Okay. Are all hearts and minds clear? Anybody want to say anything else?
Oh no, man. I let the thing slide, man. I appreciate y'all.
I'll add, you know, just from listening and learning, obviously you get more thoughts and opinions from Black women more than ever. I add, when it came to this case, you know, I just learned like, okay, you know, and stuff like this, Black women, if Megan is wrong, Black women would like to see just Black men stick their necks out and go out on a limb and defend y'all, you know, even if she may be wrong. Because that's what you would do. That's what you do for your loved ones. Even if they may be wrong, you're going to stick your neck out and defend them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've learned coming
Yeah.
from this case for the most part.
Yeah. Facts. Big facts. I think, yeah, I don't think Black men, like one of the things that I've learned too, just be having these conversations, like, I think Black men kind of have developed, and me too, kind of like I ain't finna deal with that. Like, if I get into this conversation with her, or like if it's anything that's on the fence or whatever, or I'm supposed to be woke in the sense of, you know, feminism, you know, monogamistic, whatever. Like, I think Black men kind of just don't say nothing about it, and then continue to do the same things and feel the same ways that they feel, and like don't say nothing. But I think a lot of times that response or that defense that you get from whatever side is, you know, can also be perceived as an invitation too. Like, let's talk about like why you feel like that. Like, let's really like get like, because I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, even if you dealing with, even when I'm getting cussed out on Facebook, like, a lot of times I'll just be like, okay, let's continue to have this conversation. When in the past I'd be like, I just like it or just not even do nothing with it too, you know? So what y'all learn? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing. I'm gonna talk my shit when it's Zoom. Y'all can't do nothing to me. Okay? Y'all can't do nothing to me. I'm just playing, though.
No, this is good. This is good. I think more conversations like this need to be had, because at the end of the day, we need to be open and willing to hear the other side of things. Like, we'll never become one if it's always this like us versus them type of thing. It should just be all of us against everybody else. But that's the work for our next anyway. So it's like, that we divide within ourselves, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And everybody wants that though. Like, I don't think that Black women don't want to be unified with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I genuinely think that's the goal. And I think Black men, actually, I don't know. And that's probably a good point for y'all. I don't know that Black men just want to be on y'all side. For real. Right. Right.
On the next episode of MDM World Talk.
I know.
Right. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I was Darian hit me up and it kind of scared me a little bit. But I'm glad y'all yeah, at least gave me the opportunity to defend it too. You know what I'm saying? That says a lot about y'all, for real. That really does. So I appreciate y'all. I can't remember. I think Mackenzie on the left. Mackenzie, she finna be through with me. Early. She was like, see, I just think it's crazy that and like she was gonna get on me early. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I go with the quickness for sure.
Man, she had that dear white people energy on my ass, boy. Well, yeah, man. My daughter is she requires full. You seen that post, Darian? I don't get 5 minutes without not giving her undivided attention, man. I don't even.
Hey.
She really running over here, so.
As she should.
As she should. I'm gonna say as she should.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm soft though. Like I'm one of them soft dads. Like my daughter, like I wanted a son, you know. But like I'm glad I had a daughter because it taught me how to be a parent. But like I'm literally wrapped around her finger, man. So y'all need to do your next podcast on that. Like save black dads that are in their daughters. Because we don't know what to do. We don't know. We're scared. We don't know. We always say yeah. Like I'm soft as hell. So I need some advice on that. She just turned 3.
Oh wow.
So yeah, she's 3. You haven't met her, Darren. You've been out of town ever since she's been born.
Yeah, I haven't been up there since she's been born.
She a character, man, for real. So,
did she just turn 3?
She turned 3 in August.
Oh yeah, you're in for it because she's about she's about.
Really? I mean, I thought that was the 2s. I thought I was
people
out
lie.
of it.
They lie. It's the 3s.
Oh, yeah, I'm going into it.
It's the 3s, brother.
It's the 3s.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the 3s.
All right, Josh. Appreciate you for coming with me, man.
Yeah,
we got to find it alive, and we get to tell the story.
But you had it.
We get here. It's on Zoom. Little do you know. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna head out, man. Just let me know when you guys post it or whatever, and I'll hopefully it doesn't spark another negative conversation.
I'll send you the link after we edit it and stuff. I'll send you the link.
All right, bet. All right, y'all.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Thank you.
Yep. See you.